guys, it's Theresa here of Larkin Design, and so welcome back to my 2014 Project Life album. This is part of my Throwback Thursday series where I work on a project from the past, and so this is part 2 of my Halloween layouts for this year. And so the first layout I published yesterday and shared some of the photos from the evening of Halloween of 2014, just some of the general overall photos of us being together and to tell the kind of the overall story. And then what I wanted to do was share a layout about each child individually. And I try to do this periodically in my Project Life albums, to do some individual layouts or to focus on each individual child. Occasionally, I wish I could do more of it. My emphasis is on telling our story as a family and obviously on telling my story, but I also want to include individual photos of the children. And Halloween is always a great opportunity to do that because they're willing and eager photo subjects. They want to be taken, they want to have pictures taken in their costumes, and they're excited and they're happy. So these are usually some of the best photos of the year. Yes, they're in costume, and so my strategy for taking these photos is that we get dressed about an hour or so before we plan on going out. We eat dinner, and then we have a photo session just in the driveway in front of the garage because it's a nice white clean background, and I do that while there's still light outside and while it's still fairly bright in the day. And I just take each kid and take a couple of photos with each one. I take an overall photo. If they have masks, they can wear their mask for the overall photo so you can get a picture of their whole costume. And then I do a close-up shot of their face without masks or whatever, so that you can get a feel for where they are at this year in their life. And I love taking these photos. I'll have to do a walkthrough of our Halloween layouts throughout the years, so you can see how these layouts have progressed and how they've grown. It's been really a cool way to document their growth each year, and just to highlight each one of them. They each have their own personalities, and they each have their own sparkle and their own way of being, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to share that with you guys too. So a couple of notes about my product choices. Of course, I'm working with the same products I was working with on the last video on part 1. I'm using Maggie Holmes After Dark. I'm using Simple Stories, Posh Collection, and some Gossamer Blue. A couple of the fall kits, I think probably October, November-ish fall kits, and these alphabets that I happen to be using, they were from the Target dollar spot a couple of weeks ago, I think. They're not there anymore. But that's where they came from. And there's also some embellishments from Ellie's Studio. So that's sort of my product choices. And I'm using these labels. They came from the Dear Lizzie Lovely Day collection. It's brand new. It just came out at CHA a couple of weeks ago. I needed some labels because I wanted to, for the girls, I wanted to note who they are as far as their costumes. So I decided to use the labels from the Dear Lizzie collection and then use the stamps to write out who they are. So I'll tell you who they are. Emberlyn is a mermaid. She wanted to be a mermaid that year, and she wanted to be a red mermaid. And my fear with having these tutus made was that if she wore a red tutu, then people wouldn't really understand what she was. So we compromised and we made it a turquoise and red tutu, and then we used a red undershirt for her. And then she has some shells and things in her hair. And then Natalie is Elsa from the movie Frozen. That was the year everybody was Elsa that was little, and so pretty simple. And you can see in the photo of Natalie in the bottom corner, she's freezing everyone. So that was her pose for the year, for that costume. So the other thing that I had fun doing was just scattering. There were these awesome glitter stars in the foam pack from After Dark. There were some awesome glitter stars, and I also had these star stamps from Gossamer Blue that I just sort of carried up the photo for both of the girls. I had a lot of fun doing that. I've done that in the past, where I just leave some negative space on one side and then scatter some embellishments up the side like that. I like doing that. I also realized this one journaling card that I'm working on right here is from Simple Stories. It was a 4x4, and I cut it down to 3x4. And I realized that it was sort of standing out from the standpoint that it didn't have anything that really tied it into the other journaling cards. It's floral, and the other journaling cards are really spiderwebs and text. So I added a black star and a yellow star to sort of maybe tie it in. I don't know if it actually works to tie it all in together or not, but then there's also the color orange, so hopefully it doesn't look too out of place. I don't think it looks bad. I think it's fine. So it, I definitely feel free to use the journaling cards you like, and don't stress too much over whether it actually fits in or not. I think in the overall layout it looks great, and it's definitely fun to put those cards all together. Again, I alternated between light and dark, so that there was balance on the layout. I talked about that extensively on my previous video, so take a listen to that if you haven't yet, to hear about how I achieved a sense of balance between the whites in these layouts and the darks, because Halloween layouts can become very dark with the blacks and the oranges and the spider webs, and obviously Halloween is a dark kind of holiday, but I'm not a fan of dark layouts, and obviously my photos here are very bright, so finding a way to balance the dark colors of Halloween with the bright photos was something that I was very much aware of. So I had a lot of fun with this little card. This journaling card is from the After Dark collection. It's on the cut apart sheet, and it's so cute, and I wish I had more of those, because it would have been cute to do it for all of them, but it gave you a space to write down the age and who their costume was, and what their favorite candy was, and how many houses we visited, and how many pounds of candy we brought home. And so of course I estimated on some of those, right? I have no idea how many houses we visited. I think I just put 100 or something. But I will share with you that Addison is dressed up as Rocket Raccoon that year, and Nick was dressed up as a character called Ethan Adair from one of the Star Wars movies, obviously, since he's wearing a a cute little stormtrooper mask. So he's Ethan, and Addison is Rocket Raccoon. Their costumes were a little trickier to recognize, but still really cute. And so one thing I did as well to add a little more journaling is just back. This one card is from the Pink Paisley Moonstruck collection, I think, and it's not quite big enough for a 3x4 pocket. So I just took one of the navy florals from the Posh collection and backed it with that, and that ties in the floral from the card on the other side of the layout as well. I'm also going to add a little scattering of embellishments similar to how I did with the girls, but I'm going to do a little bit different with the boys over here. So I'm going to work on that a little bit now. For the headshots, I'm just doing simple chipboard, and I kind of forgot what I did next. Let's see what I'm gonna add. Not like I don't have any choices here. I had a ton of product choices for these layouts, between the journaling cards and ephemera, and that's a good thing. Okay, I'm gonna add a little wood piece on top of both of the chipboard pieces, and a little star. Okay, and I am gonna do the star stamps up the side of the photo for the headshots. Okay, cool. And then I'll do the same with Nick's photo as well. These are so fun. I love just stamping those little stars up the side. That makes me happy. And I did just trim those little wooden circles were from Ellie's studio, and they are thin enough that you can just trim them with your scissors. I probably should not use my Fiskars paper scissors to trim that, but it's okay. Some people get antsy over what kind of scissors you use with which materials. I understand that completely. My mother was a seamstress, and she always fussed at us for using the fabric scissors for something other than fabric. So I understand that concern. I don't necessarily practice that. So for the full shots or full photos of the boys, I'm just going to do some simple sticker accents. Not very complicated at all. None of these layouts were very complicated. I kept the embellishing very, very simple on each card, just one or two things, and then a little bit more on the headshot photos, just for fun. Hopefully it draws your eye to those headshots and makes those headshots a little bit more of an emphasis, even though there are 4. So there are sort of like 4 focal points. And that's okay to do that. Like if you want to keep your embellishing simple, but then have one area of the layout that you do a cluster or a little more elaborate embellishing, you can definitely do that. Hopefully my tips have been helpful for you with these last 2 layouts. Sometimes I do that and sometimes I don't. But these are definitely just some overall strategies that I use on a daily basis. The alternating between light and dark and doing sort of tic-tac-toe pattern, and then embellishing and adding just 1 or 2 simple things to each card. That has probably been the number one best thing that I've done for my scrapbooking, is to limit the embellishing. So with that, I'm going to wrap this layout up. I think it's pretty much completed now. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you will like and comment and subscribe. Be sure to check out my blog post as well. There's always a blog post. And so with that, I will see you guys back here again soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.